Maybe we're gonna see one of them do it, I don't know.
Yeah, it really doesn't lose that much time. I've been considering just doing it just in case. I haven't actually managed to die in 1-1 yet, but
Oh,
I definitely don't want it to ever happen.
see, Horsedad just did it, in fact, which, I mean, it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't shame it or anything for it.
No, I mean, if you end up losing by that much of a margin, I mean, there's probably other things you could have done, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we see him just a little bit behind Cujo, but not much here. Cujo doesn't get the P speed, but Horsedad does get P speed here in 1-2. Pretty difficult P speed grab in this level, I'd say, the early one anyway.
Yeah, it's a P speed a lot of newer players are really confused about because it's really tight, a bit counterintuitive, because you have to run up the slopes and all, and also it's well, it's frame dependent. Like, I'm not gonna explain in detail about the framework of the game, but basically it depends on how you get P speed and all, so it can be random and it can be impossible sometimes. Both of them getting
Yeah.
quick fight though, that's really good.
Yeah, it was a really great fort for both of them there. Yeah, there's actually 2 levels that you get frame-dependent P speed in World 1, which kind of sucks actually that it's right away in the game, but I suppose you'd rather have it here than, you know, like 7 worlds in or something.
Yeah, at least you can afford to reset a lot in World 1 for stuff like that, so it's not too bad. But it's mainly about 1-2, I think. I think you were thinking about 1-6-2.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
1-6, you can really get P speed all the time if you do your execution properly, which is not the case in 1-2.
Yeah, that is true. If you do the exact same jumps on the exact same, you know, frames, you'll get it every time.
The idea is to get P speed all the time in 1-6. You really want to land as tight as possible on the top platform, which is a mistake I see a lot of players do. They don't realize they have to land really tightly, so they miss one framework of the game and they miss one P speed increment.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Mitch and I had a race yesterday, actually, or 2 races yesterday, and he missed 1-6 in both of them, and I think I got it in the second race. So
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I've missed it many times in races too before. The problem with it is, like, when you're doing attempts, usually it's okay because you don't have any pressure to land tightly and all. But in races, if you do it too tightly, you're gonna bonk against the platform and not get P speed either. So you generally try to compensate a bit for it, but then you end up like doing a jump too big. So yeah, in races, it's actually not really easy.
yeah, you kind of get in your own head, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We actually see that was it Horsedad, I think, got the early fire grab in the Hammer Bro level, so he got the 1 block in the world where he can actually grab that, and then I think Cujo got it on the airship here, so it's a little bit of a time save there for Horsedad.
Nice. I didn't even notice, honestly. I think I was watching Cujo, so I didn't see. But yeah.
Yeah, they're basically like a second or 2 apart here.
Yeah, by the way,
Essentially no difference.
Yeah, I wanted to mention a couple of things about them and about like their respective skill levels and all. So in my opinion, there is basically 3 components. In terms of basic skill and execution level, I would say they're evenly matched. In terms of consistency, I would give a small advantage to Horsedad. But in terms of experience for like no reset runs and pressure runs, I definitely give the advantage to Cujo because he's done some big GDQ runs and all, and a lot of racing, so he's not gonna get scared basically. So yeah, all in all, I would say because of that, they're pretty evenly matched in such circumstances.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say Horsedad is arguably the most consistent active runner in this category anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I would, in terms of pure consistency, I would put Mitch above him, but yeah.
Yeah. At least when Mitch is constantly running the category, he
Yeah,
likes
exactly.
to do other things.
Yeah, when you keep switching between games, you definitely lose a lot of consistency.
It's worth noting here, speaking of Mitch, that he's actually figured out a way to manipulate the hammer bro RNG in this world and guarantee early hammer. So the bro movements are actually dependent on the frame at which you end the level on. So he's been able to use that to get the deathless early hammer, which I think we were talking about it. You've only gotten it once in your entire career.
Twice, yeah, which is not a lot. So being able to manipulate it is huge now. It's a pretty big thing for SMB3. I mean, we're not gonna see it in many runs. Like, I don't expect many other runners than Mitch to go for it for the time being, but in the long term, it's gonna be massive, basically, to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's really just one of those things you'd probably implement when you're going for world record once you have that consistency and that skill, right?
Yeah. As long as you don't have like a solid 51 PV, it's completely pointless to go for it.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, we actually see Cujo going for the rocket shell there. I miss it. Did he actually get it? I think he did.
I'm unlucky because I was looking at Horsedad for this stage, so I completely missed it again.
Yeah, I think what happened is one went for one strat and the other one went for the other. So that was actually cool to see differences in the strats there.
Yeah, I'm sorry to Cujo because it's a really cool strat too, and I completely forgot about it.
This level's, I mean, it's pretty much the definition of a free level to me. You can always do the same thing every time and you'll never get hit by the sun.
Yeah, definitely. So basically in this category we pick 2-5 or 2-4 depending on the hammer bro RNG, because 2-4 is 1 second faster, so if you can pick either one you're gonna pick 2-4 usually. It's a bit harder, but it also saves 1 second. But they're trying to skip the music box and get the hammer bro. So yeah, depending on that.
Yeah, so it's worth noting the bro he's talking about, the bro with the hammer actually faces to the left after moving. So that's how we know which one it is. And that's actually a fairly recent discovery, at least I think from the beginning of this year. So
yeah, something like that.
New tech. There's actually quite a bit of new tech, it feels like, in this category this year.
Yeah, there's been some interesting stuff. Like, the early hammer manipulation is really complex, so it makes sense it wasn't elaborated before. But as far as the hammer bro thing is concerned, it's really crazy. We just didn't know until then it was a thing.
Yeah, yeah, it comes into play in, other worlds as well. World 4, we see it come into play. World 6 again, it comes into play. 3 and 5, we see the hammer bros at the beginning, so we don't really have to worry about that in those worlds.
Yeah, definitely. So this is going to be interesting because Cujo had to fight the music box. He didn't do it on purpose, but the hammer bro went on him, so he had no choice. So he's gonna have a different route compared to Horsedad in terms of items. Right now he's gonna look behind, but he's gonna make up some time thanks to it afterwards. But anyway, the reason it's interesting is Cujo at some point during his Warpless grind used to get the music box on purpose in World 2 to do a double music box route, which is a bit slower but allows you to basically mitigate luck a lot. So I suspect he's gonna go for the double music box route, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, I mean, the other thing is too, you might get lucky in World 5 and skip the Sky Bro, but sometimes he just kind of moves in your way and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So if you want to not gamble that, what you can do is you can use the music box in World 4, then you use another one in World 5, and you fight the music box on purpose in the sky. But what it means is you're gonna lack a P-Wing. So in this case, you have to make do without a P-Wing, with one less P-Wing in World 6. So there is two solutions to that. You can either wall jump 6-9, which is what Cujo was doing a lot, or you can do the fire route in 6-10, which is what I was doing.
Yeah, that's interesting to know because you can then fire kill Lemmy and you don't actually lose too much time with that route, if I recall.
No, the fire route is really good. I mean, the fastest possible route is to do the wall jump, but to get it first try. If you get it second try, it's slightly slower than doing the fire route perfectly.
So Horsedad actually getting the frame perfect jump there at the beginning of 3-1. I don't know. I seem to never get that anymore. I used to be able to get it, but it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's really a few thing. Sometimes you're gonna get it a lot, and sometimes you're like, I just can't get it anymore for some reason.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of frame perfect stuff here in World 3. Same thing in the Fortress Door 3. The up input as you enter it. You can also skip to the boom boom room, save a bunch of time, but I doubt we'll see anybody go for that in this race unless there's some sort of agreement.
Yeah, no, I don't think we will. So Horsedad missed the 3-2 P speed at the start. Basically, what you wanna do at the start is you wanna wait, so you sync the platforms, but he waited a bit too much and didn't get P speed because of it. Meanwhile, Cujo got it, and also Horsedad got hit, which is a pretty big blow. He will have probably to pick fire in 3-3 as a backup.
So is that P speed, and I've always wondered this, is it completely just dependent on where the platform is, or is there some sort of frame rule stuff going on in this level as well?
Well, it's basically a combination of both. You're trying to put the platforms in a correct position for it to cooperate with the frame rule. So yeah, it's basically both.
Oh, I see. Okay. Which is why it's so difficult, of course. That's probably one of the hardest strats for newer runners, I'd say.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not something you should go for until you're really solid at the game, I think. It's something we added really late because yeah, it's really difficult and risky and all.
Both runners, well, actually, I think, oh yeah, Horsedad had the stomp. So both runners got P speed through the fort, but unfortunately, Horsedad loses a bunch of time due to not having a fire flower.
Yeah, basically Cujo is already virtually in the lead right now because he got the music box in War 2 and Horsedad didn't. So yeah.
Yep. And he probably will be in the lead period after this level because I anticipate Horsedad probably grabbing the fire flower here.
Oh yeah, he's gonna grab it at the end. Yeah, so he didn't. He chose to not get it in 3-3, which is fine because the fire 3-3 can be really annoying to get. But yeah, he's definitely getting it in this one.
Yeah, you're kind of at risk in 3-3 of losing P speed if you go for it.
Yeah, regaining P speed is incredibly hard. Yeah, when you get fire, and because it can all be desynced and all, you can get hit again and all. So yeah, during a race, during a RTA attempt, you would definitely get it, but during a race, yeah, it's probably not worth it unless you're really confident.
Yeah. So yeah, we see 3-8 from both runners here, clouding over the auto scroller in 3-9. It is interesting. Some runners choose to do, or sorry, 3-6, not 3-9. Some runners choose to do 3-6 if they get the runaway, bro. We actually never mentioned that. I know Mitch tends to do that in races now because it allows you to save a cloud. You can then cloud a level later on.
That's still a really weird choice, to be honest, but okay.
Yeah, because sometimes what happens, unfortunately, is like you'll go through, you'll die, and then the hammer bro will come back across or something. You have to fight him anyway.
Yeah. Definitely.
Then
Sometimes
you take another death.
Screwed a lot, but yeah, it's still a pretty big time difference because it's a long auto scroller now, and there is nothing you can skip that is even close to that length. So
no, I think the longest level from this point to the end of the game that you can skip is probably 8-4, right?
yeah, that should be it. I skip 8-4 already because I use a different route, but yeah, otherwise it is definitely 8-4.
So yeah, both runners making it to Wendy's airship with Fire Flower, which is definitely ideal. It's definitely a fight you want to have a flower for. It makes it a lot easier. Stomping her can be kind of difficult because it's just a lot of precise timing.
Yeah, it can be a bit scary because you don't want to be too late or she jumps again.
Yep. And it's just a lot faster as well because she's just, I don't know, she's so easy to fire kill. She just basically runs into the fireballs.
Yeah, she's easy to fire kill, but yet it's like the one fire kill I'm never confident about because my double taps are so bad. So every time, and if you fail one and you shoot to the left instead of to the right, for example, it just snowballs and yeah, you're just late on her movement and all. It's so annoying.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. I shoot one to the left. I'm like, no. So yeah, good stuff from Cujo there.
Yeah, they both have really good double taps, better than mine. So yeah, no problem for them.
I wonder if we'll see a little bit of a route difference in 4-1. I know there's the shell route, which is the one I typically do, where you grab the shell and then get P speed. But there's another one where you don't even need the shell, and it's a little quicker. I think Lasso does that one.
Yeah, I think they're probably both gonna go for the shellless. So just go for it with fire. Because I think they're both really comfortable with it, so...
Yeah, I agree.
So we are gonna start to have an idea about what Cujo's plans are for his route, depending on... Oh, wait, so Cujo did the shell strat actually, didn't he?
Yeah, Cujo did the shell strat.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Horsedad did the other one.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna see in World 4 and 5 what Cujo decides to do with the hammer ball. If he puts all of them to sleep and all, or if he even has a chance. Because, okay, so just in 4-2 they're gonna try to despawn a plant, or Cujo failed it, but got the backup nicely. Anyway, the idea is, there is a downside to the double music box route I mentioned earlier that Cujo might do. The problem is, if you get the music box in War 2, you're kind of screwed in War 4 depending on the RNG, like if the cloud goes to the left, which he didn't do this time, so it's fine for Cujo. You're in a situation where you can't use the music box in War 4 because you have to fight the cloud, so you can't afford to put them to sleep and all. So yeah, if the hammer ball switch, it becomes really, really bad. Which is one of the reasons the double music box route is a bit questionable in attempts, because you're mitigating some RNG, but you're also adding some RNG to World 4 and all.
Yeah, plus, I mean, you might get really lucky, right, and get boxless, and unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which I think it's still okay to just have the extra music box if you do get boxless, because a lot of times you end up having to use it in World 5 to skip a bro anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can be used in 5 or 6 depending, but yeah. I mean, basically the idea is, if you do double music box, you kind of lock yourself out of the best possible routes in terms of RNG, and you're mitigating RNG, but not as much as you would think.
So we see Horsedad getting sniped there, unfortunately. It's worth noting in this stage that if your inputs are the same every time, the Lakitus do the same thing. So it's nothing RNG about it.
Yeah, he was a bit late on that cycle, but I mean, it's really hard to be perfectly consistent on 4-4, so it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Because, yeah, sometimes you'll, like, rub something or you won't get one of the fast swims exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 4-4 is literally my least favorite stage in the game, so, yeah.
I feel like a lot of people feel that way about that one. And we see Cujo getting the P-speed here in the fort. Not super easy to do.
No,
I feel like you rub a lot on the stairs.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Horsedad had to get the backup fire, so he couldn't do the P-speed strat. There is actually a really complex backup for this stage, where you can get fire and also get P-speed, which Giga came up with. but he's pretty much the only one who knows to do it at this point. I think nobody else practiced it, but it's a really interesting and cool looking backup.
Okay, I've actually never seen that one. I'll have to look that up, because yes, a lot of times I end up having to grab fire there because I lose it, you know, in 4-4 or something. So yeah, we see the longest, well, second longest level in the entire game, the slowest auto-scroller in the game. We're probably going to see both runners correct their coin counts to something that they feel is manageable.
So, oh yeah, I forgot about this meme, yeah. And about this boss fight coming up, interestingly, so Horsedad got a movement of 2 before the castle, and Cujo got a movement of 1. So for people who don't know, the boss pattern is decided by the duration between you exiting the last stage and entering the boss pipe. So because the autoscroller is always the same speed, basically the only difference is your movement in the overworld and how many movements you get from the hammer wall. So what's important to know in this case is, so Cujo got a movement of 1, which is a pretty standard fire kill, which I'm sure he will go for. But Horsedad got a movement of 2, which makes the fire kill way tighter and way scarier, so he might not go for it.
Yeah, that movement of 2 Iggy fire kill is just awful. He just jumps so quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty rough to do nicely. And if you get hit at this point, it's really bad because you really don't want to use fire before World 5, or that's a really big time loss.
So yeah, we actually got a question from the chat, why 69 coins? So in this game, if you have a multiple of 11 with your coins and the tens digit matches that multiple, so let's say they had 66 and they had 60 on the tens digit of their points, one of the Hammer Bros in the next world would turn into a coin ship at the end of, you know, whatever level they completed.
Exactly. And yeah, you can see Horsedad didn't go for the fire kill, but Cujo did. But that's purely because of the RNG they got.
Yeah, you don't want to go for that fire kill, mess it up, and then you have to stop them anyway. You lose like probably 2 seconds doing that.
And so yeah, like Haxor was saying about the coins and coin chips, so the idea is when you can, you put your coin numbers to some number that will work well to avoid coin chips in the next world. And in this case, putting, I mean, 69 works, so they do it for the memes, but 68 or 67 would also be fine, honestly.
Yeah, 69 is a meme, but I don't know. I feel like for me, it's always been kind of like an optimal number of coins for some reason. It just seems to work out really well.
Well, sorry, Horsedad just got a really rare thing in 5.1 that I've seen like twice ever, maybe. He got a really weird RNG from the chomp.
Yeah, I saw that.
It got hit in the fall, and I mean, I can't even blame him. That's something you pretty much almost never see, and it happened somehow. That's insane.
Yeah, the good old 180-degree chomp. What the heck?
Yeah, I used to think that it only happened if you had a weird cycle, like if you did a mistake or whatnot. But I watched his execution, and I'm pretty sure it was perfect. So I'm really confused. It just probably got insane bad luck or something. I don't know.
So yeah, we see Cujo maintaining P speed through the fortress here without any issues. This one of the first levels, I think, here in World 5 that's just really treacherous, right? Because, you know, if you fall in the lava, especially in that beginning section, you're dead, and then you have to do it over again. If you have Fire Flower, it's a lot slower.
Yeah, the first jump is really scary in particular.
And then, of course, it doesn't get easier because you go to the tower and you can just fall down to your death in the tower, and there's all sorts of levels like that in the sky portion of the world too. World 5 just seems really dangerous. It doesn't seem that hard in terms of execution, but it's just like if you mess up anything, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. I would say it's still a bit hard because stages like Tower are pretty intensive in terms of execution and understanding of P-speed when going through pipes and all. But yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and plus 5-5, the early P speed grab there is really, really difficult.
Cujo is a really nice tower. In fact, we should probably switch audio to Cujo, I just realized.
Good point. Alright, swapping over. Yeah, I guess you can actually maintain P speed in that last room as well in the tower. I've seen it happen a couple times, but I don't know, it seems really difficult.
The audio jinx. Oh, that hurts.
Plus I jinxed it too, right? Talking about how
Yeah.
treacherous it was, so.
I mean, 5-4 is like the #1 stage you die on in World 5 typically, because of lag, because of spinning platforms and all.
Yeah,
It's
depending
insanely
on where you
tight
land
right now.
on that one cloud platform, right? Like it lags more or less.
Yeah, the lag is insane because of the waterfalls and all. So it looks straightforward when you watch it, but really in terms of execution, it's really awkward because you have to adjust due to lag and all. Okay, so Horsedad getting hit, which puts him at pretty much the same point as Cujo in terms of power-ups.
Yeah, now I believe Cujo still has a music box, so he's hoping to skip this bro, and it's in a pretty good location for him here. If it moves up, he's pretty safe after this level.
Wait, actually, I forgot to check. Did he put the hammer ball to sleep at the bottom, or did he fight one?
No, I think he fought them both. I think they both fought them both, actually.
Oh, so that's why he lost his lead. I completely forgot to look at that. Okay, so he's not going for the double box route, so he wants to skip him, and he doesn't.
Of course not. That's how that always works, right?
Yep. Would be too easy otherwise.
This is probably, that's not the worst bro in the game. I still think World 4 Star bro is like the biggest jerk in the entire game, without question.
Yeah, Starboy in World 4 is really bad. The one in World 6 was also really bad until we learned about how to recognize which HB is which, and since then it's a bit less annoying, but still sometimes you don't have a choice.
Oh yeah, someone in chat just mentioned, it's worth noting you can actually do a clip in this level, but if you miss it you die, and of course I got it in my race yesterday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would
think,
never go for that if I want to win a race.
No, yeah, I mean you go for it in PB attempts, right? If you absolutely have to like have a time save to save the run, but that's
yeah,
really
basically.
about it.
I only ever go for it if I'm like a few seconds behind where I want to be, and I really want to catch up.
So yeah, we actually in this tournament too, Svene, in one of his runs earlier in the tournament went for it and got it. So 1 for 1 in the tournament anyway.
Oh yeah, he really likes it.
And I mean, he was in lead at that point too. There wasn't so much risk, I guess.
So wait, it's really tight in terms of items right now because Cujo got some extra fights in World 5. I don't think he has an advantage anymore. He probably has. Actually, he has an extra music box for sure. So what it means is, if he fights the cloud first in World 6, he's sure to not have to fight the second hammer ball, even if it's in the way. But that's pretty much the only advantage that brings.
Did you pay attention to... Oh wait, all the bros were dead for Cujo, I think, right? And then Horsedad, did he have one still alive from the bottom section?
I suppose so because he caught up, but honestly I didn't pay attention. Wait, he also caught up because of the death, so yeah, I'm not sure actually.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I was just thinking in terms of you can actually fire kill Roy here. It's a little difficult It's a little risky just because of the nature of Roy with his stomps, but I feel like it's not too difficult compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah, you just have to be really prepared to what pattern you're gonna get depending on how many HB movements and the menuing you have to do to use the cloud over 5-9. I worked out all the patterns possible, and every situation was doable basically, but sometimes you just have to delay the pipe a bit.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right, and use that same concept actually in World 7 again, I think, for Ludwig, actually. So yeah, this bro is always the hammer, so you never have to worry about where this one goes. So we saw on Cujo's screen there, that bro that turned left or faced left after movement is actually the bro he wants with the cloud, so...
Cujo doing the early jump to the spikes, which is a bit scary. Horsedad is not doing it. It's scary, but I mean, saves time.
Yeah, it's really scary. I don't know, you can't wait too late to do it, otherwise you won't get it, and you can't do it too soon either, otherwise you just go in the lava.
Yeah, remember how I had two TAS early hammer runs ever? Well, one of the two I lost to this jump. So I have bad memories of it.
Oh no!
Oh, that's 6-4 for you.
Honestly, of all the stages you can die in the entire game, if you could choose one, this is probably the one, but...
Yeah, that's not too bad. And it happens also because the stage is also pretty laggy and all. I mean, it has spinning platforms, so automatically it's laggy.
So of course he gets the P-speed the second time he comes through, and so that P-speed actually requires you to jump on the second frame of the ice block there to get.
Okay, so Horsedad entering 6-5 and is doing an important manipulation with the P-wing to despawn one of the enemies at the top, so he doesn't have to grab the shell, and he does it perfectly.
Yeah, people ask me to like try to explain this one to them, and it's really hard because you have to basically scroll the screen to the right really quick. Like that's one of the requirements, as well as that has to blow up like right there, right? And then you'll despawn.
Yeah, the idea is you're creating a sprite overload at the right moment because the game can't handle too many sprites at once. So if you have too many, one of the enemies doesn't spawn, or even two sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, you can despawn the second nipper if there's like another ice block thrown that direction too, right? Sometimes that one beetle throws it, or I actually think it was like Oglib or somebody actually picked one up and threw it to get the double despawn.
Yeah, you can do that too. So they both got really good RNG in World 6 and could skip the Star Armor Ball, which means Cujo's extra music box doesn't have any use anymore and is just a time loss.
So yeah, 6-8 here. One thing I've noted in this level is sometimes if you land at a specific spot on this platform and it lags at like the right time, you won't get P-speed. It's really weird. I don't really understand why that happens, but it seems to happen sometimes to me.
Well,
yeah,
they both
neither have problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, both get the H jump there. It's important. That saves really a lot of time.
So yeah, nobody skipped a P-wing, so they're doing the normal route right now, which is just 6-9 P-wing.
That's the hardest level in the game right there. Very difficult. So yeah, this level actually, in one of the earlier races, Cujo got the clip at the end, which you're very familiar with that clip.
Oh yeah, I really like it.
He went for it there.
Yeah, he wasn't too far off.
I think it saved something like 6 to 8 seconds, is that correct?
Yeah, it saves 7 seconds, I think.
Okay.
Assuming you start zipping instantly when you go in, I think it should be 7 seconds. Usually when I get it, I personally don't zip instantly because I never press down in anticipation to not affect my position or whatnot, and also because if I try to press down too early, I usually miss the door if I don't get the zip. So I just react if I get it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's the same deal because you don't want to slow down if you don't get it. Because if you miss it, and as long as you land on the platform, it's just as fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm wondering if we'll see the nice little swag clip on the airship here. I have a nice little story about it. So the first time I ever did it was in an early hammer run, and it's like a minute ahead of my PB on like a 52-minute pace, and I squished myself on the screen.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, we see Cujo get it there, and he does not squish himself because he is patient.
Yeah, he knows you have to wait a little bit in case.
Playing around
so
with the leaf
the
there,
question is, did he use his subpixel lock for 7-1, or is he gonna get 7-1 first try too?
Oh, they're both gonna get it first try, right? I mean, that's the way it should work.
Every time I watch Horsedad, he gets it first try, so I mean, I'm not too worried about him. We'll see for Cujo.
But yeah, this one's a little tough too, and I think both of these guys, neither of them duck actually for it. It seems like if you duck, jump into the doorway there, you seem to get it first try a little more often for whatever reason.
I think they duck for the first attempt, but not for the attempt afterwards, but we'll see.
It is worth noting you can actually clip at small Mario, but you gotta clip into those pipes there. Oh yeah, of course. Horsedad first.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Horsedad never fakes it, literally. Oh, Cujo getting subpixeled just now. Oh, that's 7-1 for you. So, really quick explanation about Horsedad right now. He has to do a really important P-speed build, and if you fail getting P-speed on the first try in 7-2 at the start like that, it can be really bad because your star runs out. You have to deboost, and then you can die on the fence, small Mario. Anyway, you got it nicely.
Yeah, I tend to grab.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tend to grab the fire flower when that happens, just in case. Or I mean, you can just take it safe on that last jump, as you mentioned, in case that.
Yeah, you can slow down in case. What is the time second difference when you get 3 stars, fire flowers, or 3? So 3 stars waste approximately 2.5 seconds, and flowers and mushrooms are actually the same time, and it's a bit less than 1 second lost.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to note too. Sometimes you get unlucky and you'll get a fire flower, 3 times in a row. I've had that happen a few times, and you're just like, thank you, game.
Honestly, my dream was to get a record with a flower fireworks, but it never happened.
That's just the game telling you, oh, you're doing this too well.
So yeah, the stages right now are a bit straightforward, so I want to give a quick explanation about 7-1 why subpixels are important. Basically, Mario moves at 2.5 pixels per second. So what it means, because you can't actually move 2.5 pixels forward, so what it means is he's gonna move 2 or 3 pixels depending on his subpixels. And the way the ejection mechanism works, when you enter the wall, basically, if you're gonna move 3 pixels to the right, you get a zip, the wall zip, and if you're gonna move 2 pixels, you eject it back to the left. So yeah, basically half of your subpixels give you 2 pixels, and you're just not getting the zip. and half of your subpixels give you 3 pixels, and you get it. Okay, so Horsedad did on purpose a double damage boost in 7-8, which means he's gonna do 7-9 Small Mario, which is an interesting possibility for races.
Yeah, usually we see people at least maintain one fire up or one power up there, so yeah, he's opting just to do the level without the clips.
Yeah, so the idea for races is if you don't want to deal with a cloud over 7-9 into 7F2, which is really scary because if you die, you instantly lose the race. And it's really possible to die in 7F2, it's like the hardest stage. Oh, Cujo is going for the zips though, which is good start.
Yeah, you always feel good when you get that first try, and then you miss this one like 6 times in a row, and then you're like, crap, now I have to get this one. Right.
So yeah, the idea about the route Horsedad did is compared to using a cloud over 7-9 and doing 7F2, if you damage boost twice in 7-8 on purpose to do 7-9 Small Mario, it's approximately 7 seconds slower. So you wouldn't see Horsedad doing it in attempts, but for races it's a really good option.
Yeah, he can just get his upgrades back in this airship. It's one of 2, I think, in the entire game that have 2 upgrades, actually, and they're both fire flowers in this one, so...
But meanwhile, Cujo is going for the all-out route in World 7, World 8. So what he's doing is, he went for the zips in 7-9, he's doing 7F2 with fire, which is, he's doing it really nicely so far. Oh, that's too bad, but it's not a massive time loss, but still a bit annoying. Oh, that's also annoying. Don't die, please. Okay.
Don't slide, Boom Boom, please don't slide.
So yeah, what Cujo is gonna do is he's gonna use a cloud on the fort in World 8. So Horsedad is in the lead right now, but not as much as it seems, because Cujo is gonna gain back like 40 seconds in World 8, thanks to that.
It seems like they're fairly close to even. I think Horsedad's maybe a little ahead.
Now Horsedad is definitely ahead due to 7-1 and all, but it's not that much.
Yeah, it's with that, I don't know, that fire strat in 7-4-2, it seems like more often than not than that lower section after you go through the pipe, you end up taking damage on either the dry bones or the death waffle there.
Yeah, the second room is actually really hard. But you can't really die in the second room. You're gonna get hit really often, but you can't really die. But you can really die in the first one. The first half is really scary as far as this goes.
Yeah, we see a lot of people, if they choose to do it, actually grabbing the star. So it's kind of interesting to see him do it the way, generally he would in an RTA. So
Horsedad finished World 7 at like 43 minutes flat or something. I wasn't looking, but it should be around 43 minutes flat. So we'll see when Cujo finishes. Oh yeah, we have to start the bet for the hands or something, because Horsedad is entering World 8.
Yep. So there are 3 levels on the second screen of World 8 that can automatically pull you in, and they're called the hands because the animation is a hand pulling you in. Each one, it costs about 20 seconds roughly if you get pulled in, and 50-50 chance whether you get pulled in the one. So if you do the math, there's a 12.5% chance of getting no hands, and also the same chance of getting 3 hands. So you want to guess the number of hands that both runners get combined, and keep in mind that a runner can potentially play a hand twice, and that does count. So
oh yeah, you type start, okay. Okay, so Cujo right now is gonna grab at 44.10, which means I think Horsedad has a 30 seconds lead approximately, if we take 8-4 into account. So Horsedad can probably afford one more hand and still be in the lead. One more hand than Cujo, I mean.
Yep. Yeah, if he gets 2, it's gonna be really close. It's gonna come down to execution, really, at that point, if he gets 2 more.
Yeah, if he gets 2 more, Cujo should be the favorite for it. But I mean, on the other hand, Cujo is doing a scarier route in World 8 because he's not doing the fort. What it means, okay, he's gonna save like 40 seconds, but he's also gonna not have a backup fire possible in the fort. So if he gets hit in 8-1 typically or 8-2, he instantly has a massive time loss because he's not gonna get fire back and he can't fire kill Bowser.
Yeah, it's pretty much if you end up getting hit in 8-1, you have to cloud 8-2 and then do the fort to get the fire because it's faster that way.
Yeah, sorry, I was lost in thought. Yeah, I was reading the chat, but yeah, exactly. If you get hit in 8-1, you can definitely. That's actually what I did in the relay race at SGDQ. I didn't have fire for 8-1, and I didn't want to go for the backup 8-1, so I just did 8-1, cloud 8-2, and played the fort. Obviously, the fort is much longer than 8-2, but it still saves a lot of time to get fire back to fire kill Bowser.
Yeah, it's essentially an entire minute that it saves.
No. it's not as much as that though. It's fire kill saves like 25 seconds actually.
It's only 25, really?
Yeah. A lot of people think it. I mean, you're not the only one thinking it's way more than it is. It actually depends on RNG, how fast Bowser and how jumps and all.
Yeah.
But I saw it when I was doing the long warp grind, because as I was doing an impossible route in Bowser Castle, I just often lost fire and fought him normally. And yeah, it's actually, you often lose like 25 seconds fighting him normally.
That's actually not too bad then, honestly, but I suppose that requires you to get really good RNG.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what Horsedad gets. He skipped the first hand, which is 95%. That's really impressive.
This is honestly the best hand to do. It's very technically simple, and I think it's the fastest hand as well. Is that right?
Yeah, second one is fastest by just a little bit. Actually, the first and second one are really close. Doesn't look like it, but they are. Third one is 3 seconds slower than them.
Yeah, of course, it's the one where you can actually maintain P speed all the way through it too, and it's the slowest, right?
So the fact that Horsedad got 2 hands means that if Cujo gets no hand, he's virtually in the lead.
Now, I mean, average luck is 1 or 2 hands, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, getting no hand is 1 in 8, so we'll see. But I mean, he has to get by the 95% hands, so I'm not really confident.
Yeah.
And here we go.
It just feels so bad when you get pulled in by this one. You're just like, great.
Yeah. When you're doing attempts and you're on pace and it's the first hand, you're like, yeah, I just expected that somehow.
Oh god, the double. You're just like, come on, game. Don't get me. I mean, technically you get lucky if you get 3 hands. It's just not the luck you want, right?
Yeah, not really.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard for Cujo to win this race.
So, Horsedad actually getting the P-speed here in 8-1, that's really hard to do because I believe that fireball shot that he used to kill that Koopa is frame perfect.
No, it's really tight and scary. I wouldn't do it in races, but it's not that tight.
Oh, okay.
But it's still a bit scary to go for, but yeah, it's not that tight. The window is bigger than that. That being said, the lead Horsedad has right now means even if he can't fire kill Bowser for some reason, like if he loses fire in the fort or whatnot, he's still ahead basically. Like even with a normal kill, he should be ahead of Cujo right now.
Yeah, he should be at least a minute ahead at this point.
Let's see, he was like 30. Oh yeah, it should be like 50 seconds ahead, I think. Yeah, because he was around 30 seconds ahead. So you add 1 hand to that. Yeah, should be around 50 seconds. Yeah, exactly what Giga said. The thing is, like Horsedad went for the hard 8-1 peace speed and all, but it's a bit less scary for him because he knows he can grab fire back in the fort and all if needed to. But Cujo doesn't have this possibility, so I'm not sure he will go for it. Oh, he's going for it, actually.
He probably feels like he has to because he got 3 hands, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, when you're like 50 seconds behind, I think you just have to hope Horsedad will use a whistle accidentally or die in the lava, which is possible. You can really die in the lava in Bowser Castle.
Yeah, we actually saw it happen to him, unfortunately, earlier in the tournament where he died on Bowser. He had some really interesting Bowser hops in that fight.
Oh yeah, that was the choke of the century, wasn't it?
more or less.
I heard he blew like the biggest lead ever to a death on Bowser or no. I mean, it was something. I love Horsedad, so he would be okay with me saying that, don't worry.
Yeah, he was on like a 53-minute pace and he ended up getting a 55 something, I think is what happened. And Lasso at a 54 something, so. But yeah, this is looking like a typical Horsedad race, you know, about 52-minute time.
Yeah. I think he's gonna get like... let's see. Yeah, that looks like a 53:02 or something. If his Bowser Castle is good. And he got 2 hands, so that's a really solid race time.
Yeah, I don't think he had any deaths. I think Cujo was the only one that had deaths. He had 2 of them, actually.
Yeah, 2 pretty quick deaths for Cujo. But yeah, at this level of play, you can't expect to win a race if you don't get at least a 53.
Yeah, I think Cujo's just gonna sneak in a 53 here.
Yeah, 53:02 indeed, and 53:04 on the bot. GG for the first one.
Yeah, that's a really solid time. Honestly, this is a really good time from Cujo considering 3 hands and 2 deaths too.
Oh yeah, Cujo had a pretty good run too, honestly. I mean, you would beat most players with that time for sure.
Bowser was gentle to both of them, so that's always good to see.
So yeah, you can see that both of them got 53 and with 2 and 3 hands, so I mean that shows the level of play right now. They're both really good and what they're doing.
GG's to both. They're actually going to be doing another race here in about 15 minutes is what it's scheduled for. Race 2 of potentially 3, so assuming if Cujo at least wins that next one, then we'll see a game 3. I think probably another day is what the plan is.
I want to quickly relay what Cujo said about this race in his comment. He said 2 extra hammer ball, 3 hands, 10 tries on 7-1. Can we do a 100% tourney next time? I'm all for that, honestly.
I think we're trying to figure out how long they want in between races, and we're actually going to have a little bit of different commentary here for the second one. Supersonic will be joining Karua as the co-caster, and I'll probably just be watching in the chat because it's going to be another really good race.
Well, thanks a lot for being here for the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure, man. A surprise as well. So, you know, hopefully you stick around and do some of this stuff more often, huh?
This tournament has been really interesting to follow. I sadly couldn't watch the first half. It kept happening when I wasn't there, so I was just seeing the results and all. But yeah, I saw that everybody was doing a great job at it. I know it's good that it's going so well.
Yeah, I think it was Oglib that was mentioning that he got like top 6 last tournament, running 57s all the way through, and 57s wouldn't have got you like probably 3 rounds in on this one.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So yeah, it looks like they're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break here, and then we'll be back with the second game.